Hello guys, welcome back. Now today, I want to talk about NHL coaches this season and why none of them have been fired in the 17-18 NHL season. No coaches have been fired. And of course, you've probably heard this before. No NHL coaches have been fired throughout the NHL season, and that's for the first time since the 60s. Now, that's just a monumental gap that I thought was not even that long, but it turns out that's like 50 years of a gap there, which is just seriously interesting. This last time there was an NHL season where no coaches were fired was that long ago, and it's seeming like there isn't going to be any coaches fired this season. There's only like 15 games left, and if any team would fire their coach, I'd have no idea why they want to do it at the end of the season. Would just be really weird timing. So I just don't think there's going to be any coaches fired, which is just extremely weird. How it's happened, like since the switch from last year, which was just so many coaches being fired, and switched from this year, and there's just nothing going on, at least coach firing wise. And of course, this is really surprising for a few reasons now. It's surprising to see for the first reason is that a lot of teams I feel could benefit from it. Of course, teams at the bottom that, kind of had some expectation for a little bit of success at the start of the season would have, I think, benefited from a coaching change. Maybe Edmonton would have done that. I really don't know what the thing is there, but there's a couple of teams that I could pinpoint down that could actually use that kind of thing. I know the Senators could use a coaching change, maybe in the Montreal Canadiens. There's a few teams there that I think could have definitely used a coaching change in the middle of the season that didn't use it, and of course they're in the bottom of the standings now. And once again, the last couple of seasons have been pretty monumental for how many coaches were being fired, and it's just such a sudden shift from just the last couple of years where there's so many just coaches being fired, and now to this year where there's just nothing going on. And with that, I think in the offseason there will be a few GMs fired. I think a lot of teams are waiting towards the offseason. Maybe they are just patient overall. Maybe they just want to keep with coaches and maybe give them a second chance. That's the thing that a lot of teams haven't been really doing these past couple of years, where they give them one season and see how they do. And if they're doing that terrible, they'll let them go. And it's nice to see that coaches actually get a couple of years to settle in with the franchise and actually settle in with the players. That's good, because I think some teams can actually benefit from having their coach staying for a couple of years, not just getting fired from one bad year. Now, I think there will be a lot of movement in the offseason. I think teams are just waiting towards the offseason to get that stuff done. Maybe some teams are going to be impatient rather than wait another year for their current coach and actually pull the trigger. There could be a couple of teams that do that. Maybe the Red Wings do that with Blashill. There's a couple of instances there where the team can let go of their coach. Maybe they just don't want to fire in the season, but rather in the offseason. And again, going back to the rest of the season, there's definitely a guarantee that no NHL coaches will be fired. It'll be something very special if there's any NHL coaches fired throughout the season, because there's only like 15 games left. It'd be super weird for a team to just relieve a coach of his duties with 15 games to go. It would just be pretty ridiculous. Again, I think it's almost guaranteed that no coaches, at least for this season, will still get fired. I think that's pretty much done and gone with 15 games left, basically for almost every single team. It would just be super weird for a coach to be fired at this time. It'll be really interesting to see how many coaches are actually put on their fire and actually rumored to be out, because, of course, 0 firings in this season. It'll be interesting to see how many are fired in the offseason. I don't think it'll be too many, especially since, of course, 0 for this current season, but in the offseason, there could be a big splash there. There could be a lot of coaches fired, but I think there's going to be some more safe teams coming, just going to keep with their coaches. I think there'll be a couple firings, but not too many. Now, there is some good coaches still available. There's still some coaches with a massive NHL experience still on the, market, but there's still a lot of experienced coaches, and some coaches that I think could do pretty well. There's a lot of young guys still just kind of in the system, and there's really a lot of guys available. And the patient overall for franchises just keeping their coaches have been really surprising. Of course, dating back to the last couple of years, where there's tons of ones where teams were really impatient with their coaches, and the tough seasons they're really just keeping with their coaches, which is a good change. I do like it, since it gives the coaches more time to develop. But it was just a really surprising factor that I didn't really think was going to happen. I think it was going to continue to happen. And overall, the question of why haven't coaches been fired this season is overall just the patience for NHL franchises, just keeping with their coaches and sticking with them. I do like it, but it's just something crazy compared to the years past. That's good, guys. Like, subscribe, and not ring that bell if you haven't. Tell me down below what you think of the NHL coaches, and that none of them have been fired. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.